Hey guys, Brian here, and welcome back to Direct Admission. And in today's video, we have a really good one because we are interviewing Jumer Adeline, who is an amazing nurse that focuses on pick line placement as well as growing your brand on Instagram. This was such an amazing conversation. His personality and insight is one of a kind. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's just jump right into the video. So today we have Jumer. He's a pick nurse, Instagram coach, content creator, and coffee connoisseur. I'm taking that right from your website.
Yeah,
So if you don't mind, just introduce yourself and we'll go from there.
absolutely. So, my name is Jumer. I am a pick nurse, content creator, all sorts of things rolled into one. I was an ICU nurse for the longest time, and then, COVID really shifted things for a lot of us. And then one day, one of my colleagues messaged me and was like, "Hey, we have an opening for a pick nurse job. Do you want in?" And little old me, no shame, editing my resume on the nurses station, and the rest is history. And then at some point, I felt like, hey, nursing is actually doable. So then I tried to find something that like really, sparked that creativity back in me. And then I took Instagram seriously like last year and just blew up to 50K, and I've monetized my content, created passive income in ways that I never knew was possible.
And that's awesome, but that was a lot to unpack. So let's rewind a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
So we were talking off the recording that we're both Filipino, and I do remember from Jason's video, really good guy, that you
Yeah.
came from the Philippines, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was born here, so I have no idea how the schooling works in the
Yeah.
Philippines other than what my parents have told me. So how did nursing school go in the Philippines? Or did you even want to go into nursing when you were in the Philippines? Like what did you
It's the national sport, and you get
Yeah.
born into a family of nurses. It's inevitable. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Like nursing has opened so many doors and so many opportunities for me and my family
Mhm.
that it's just. I think it's amazing, like the freedom that you get with the 312s and all of that. But going back to your question, I was like maybe four. How old was I when I graduated 19 with my bachelor's,
Mhm.
and that's because we don't have that K to
Oh
like
yeah, the
12th.
like
Yeah,
don't have like a junior high or something.
exactly. So it's like kindergarten, grade school up until like sixth grade, and then you get thrown into high school. So
Oh
then that's
wow.
4 years. Yeah, 4 years, and then you go into college. There's no in between. We don't really have a lot of like in between kind of degrees like associates or like an
Mhm.
LPN. We have like MDs. We have RNs, we have
Mhm.
CNAs, but not much in between like here.
Okay.
So you get thrown into nursing school at a very early age and then finish like at 19 or 20, and then you got your big boy pants on.
Did you work as a nurse in the Philippines?
Very briefly. And but you back then it was ridiculous. You had to pay for like to get to work for like.
That's
Yeah, and
that's what
then
I
they,
heard.
yep, and then they had to abolish that because it was like ridiculous. But then you get in
Like doo doo.
change.
Yeah, like
Yeah, and it's the ratios. Like people here complain that the ratios are crazy, and I'm like, try working one shift, and it's not even like a steady like shift of like, oh, 1 month, like for the rest of your full time gig that you're gonna be nights. No, you flip flop, and it's like eight
wow.
hour shifts. It's yeah.
And then what made you or how did you get to America, I guess, USA with your nursing license? I know from my parents,
Yeah.
they were recruited in because I think that was
Mm-hmm.
just a time when there's
Mm-hmm.
crazy shortage and they just took everyone from every like third world country, especially the
Yeah.
Philippines. So how did it work for you?
So it was my sister-in-law. She is a registered nurse, and she's now a nurse manager up in Madison, Wisconsin. It was her that got recruited back then, and then it was a bunch of Filipino nurses, and then like after maybe a year, a couple months, she took my brother, and then my brother petitioned
Mhm.
my mom, and then my mom petitioned me after like a few years, and I got here just in time. I was turning 20 years old, 21 years old, and it was just a perfect time for me to sit for the NCLEX, and then just job hunting was the next.
So how does the licensing work? So you passed your boards already in the Philippines, and then you have to pass another boards here.
Here. Yeah.
This so
So I took my local boards there because you need a license of some sort from like your country of education. So say the
okay.
Philippines. I needed one from there, and then I needed to sit for one more exam, which is called CGFNS. I forgot what it's called. It's Commission for Graduate of Foreign Nursing School, something like that. But it was like I was unprepared. It was like 300 questions compared to like the NCLEX. Yeah. And it's like super basic stuff that if you didn't really read or bother to learn, you wouldn't. And I failed that one exam because I thought it was like, oh, it's the same thing as the NCLEX. No, it's completely like by the book.
And I feel like that's the one in the Philippines you said, right? So that's
No, this is here.
another
This is
here.
because
Oh,
different
what?
states. Yeah, different. This was because the first state that I've ever worked in was Wisconsin, and they have like a different kind of licensing situation type of thing going on. So then it was an English proficiency test,
Okay.
which was the IELTS, a CGFNS exam, my license from the Philippines, and then all of that. I was able to sit for the NCLEX,
So you have to do
knocking
all
down
that
all of those
to
prerequisites.
sit.
Yeah, for the
So
NCLEX.
wow. And you're saying that
Yeah.
part was actually harder than the NCLEX.
Yeah, just all of that, lining it up all together and then just making sure that, I have everything like just in time because time is money. And it was like, it
Oh,
took me a
true.
year to find a job, like a nursing job, because of like waiting for the Wisconsin Board of Nursing to get back at me or like do I think I did IELTS, the online testing. And it's like, they only do a few spots like a year or in a
Oh,
month, and it's like,
jeez.
come on.
So like took like a whole year to kind of get it all like
Yeah,
ironed out. Wow.
yeah,
So you're chilling. So you're already here in America,
yeah,
chilling here, no
yep,
income. You're just like, I just need to
yeah.
do something. So what did you do
Honestly,
during that time?
I was just
Have
like
anxiety
every
and stress?
that too. Well, not yet. I didn't. I was proud of that. That was a part of my life where no stress, no anxiety. But just like every Filipino family, an extended family, I took care of my nieces. I,
Okay.
like ran, like I took them to like volleyball or basketball practice, like piano lessons. Like I was,
Everything.
yeah, I was there all in one. And then, I enjoyed that part. Like I was like maybe 22 and I didn't really have a lot going on, but I really enjoyed that. And looking back at that now, it's like, wow, it's, when you've really come a long way, it really
Hmm.
grounds you and really makes you appreciate every single little thing that you achieve.
That's true. And definitely could tell from just your personality that like you really just like take everything in. So it's like, so the next part, there's so much I want to go into now because
Yeah.
so your first you were in Wisconsin, and then where are you now?
I am based in Houston, Texas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How is I guess the why Houston instead of staying in Wisconsin?
Yeah. So for 3 years since moving to Madison in Wisconsin,
Hmm.
um, I stayed with my brother and my sister-in-law. And then I found a hospital job finally after, like, I started out in a nursing home, and that's like a normal, like a
Hmm.
usual route for a lot of foreign
Is
educated
it
nurses like
really
Filipinos.
like?
Yeah, because they don't really ask for nursing experience. And I
Mm,
didn't at that time. So I was like, hey, I need a job. And then they took me in, and I started out as a CNA. And then
mhm.
after like maybe 2 years of just trying to find a hospital job, I found one just outside of the city. So I had to commute. It was an hour away. And then I was like, I can't do this. In between
Mm,
like blizzard and snow, I'm like, I need a
yeah.
place here. So I moved out for like a year, and then I was like, I need a real hospital job because this one was like a critical access hospital. It was right next to like a prison so we could get inmates. It was like, no, it's crazy. Like you have to flip your badge so people or take it off and like
So
find
they
a
don't
fake.
choke you or
Yeah, or they're actually like super smart. Some of them are super smart and they have like great memory. So they'll like memorize your name and like try to find you
what?
after they get out. It's like, and I've heard of these
You
things.
took really good care of me, but let me just try to get.
Right, yeah, yeah. I've never had anyone personally do that, but I've just heard like ridiculous things like, oh, don't say your real name when you walk in, or flip your badge, or take your badge out, blah blah blah. Anyway, so then I moved from Madison after 3 years to Austin, and that's
Okay.
where I met my husband. And then we moved to Houston a couple years, and now we've been here for 7 years. It's amazing. You should check it out. To live in but not visit. There's not much to see here, but the NASA and like that's it.
So like I've heard the pay in Texas isn't obviously as high as like New York or not
Correct.
even as close to
Yeah.
California. So for were you already when you got the hospital job in Houston, did you start doing the PIC nursing there or that's when you did the ICU stuff?
Yeah, so I was hired into a CVICU at night
Oh, you're
in
one of
Austin.
those.
Yeah, I
You're one of
was
those really, really smart ones.
no, not really. I was nights. They didn't want me to mess up. They were like, hide at night and then learn on your own pace. And then it was time for my husband to move, and I was like, I need to find a job. And I was just applying for anything here in Houston. Didn't know that it had one of the, if not the largest medical centers in the world, with like 50 hospitals all like packed into one place. And then I was just like applying for jobs. I didn't care what kind of ICU it was. I just needed a job. And it was like when I threw my, when I put my resume up there, job interviews coming left and right. And I was just like, and then I got lucky and I've worked for this hospital now that I'm with for 5, 6 years now. And it's just been,
And so now that's the PIC line placement now, or that's you're
yes,
still in
this
the
is
ICU?
yeah.
Okay.
So I started out as a cardiac ICU nurse on
Yeah, and
days
then
in this hospital, and then that turned into a COVID unit, and we did like all the ECMO stuff,
yeah, oh,
and it
yeah.
got really really heavy, and I was like, it's time for a change. So then I applied for the PIC position in this hospital, and it's just been life changing.
And is that position only placing PICs?
Yeah, so it's PICs, midlines, and difficult ultrasound guided
Oh,
PIVs.
perfect. It's like the same at the hospital that I have. We just like the
Yeah,
vascular access team,
yeah,
got the
yeah,
nice big ultrasound.
yeah.
So, and so do you, a lot of my friends that are on that vascular service team
Hmm.
also are doing like side hustles outside of the hospital where they're with like another company and they'll do like those nursing home or those people that need like home antibiotics and they'll put those midlines in and all that stuff. Do you do that as well?
No, I don't, because that entails a lot of driving, and I do not
Hmm.
like driving in Texas or in Houston in general. And then it takes so much, like, again, like mileage, and then they do pay, I know, upwards of like 150 per line. Like you
Yeah,
can make bank, but you have to drive a lot.
yeah.
And I like the support of having like a two-person team inserting lines. And I'm confident in my skills, but I'm just not confident alone. Like a lot of just like home health. Like I'm not confident
Mhm.
walking into somebody else's house
Oh yeah, for
and it's just
sure.
you and me, me and the patient, and then
And you don't know who like
something.
who's behind you or something like
Exactly,
that.
yeah. Or something could go wrong. And I'm like coming from an ICU background, like I'm just thinking like, what if this patient codes and it's just
You know what happens.
yeah. Like I mean I'm gonna call the ambulance, but it's just too many things. And I like the security of having to, have a team right behind you and like maybe a physician to like escalate things. Yeah.
And that's a really cool skill because I recently, I think during COVID, actually, I learned how to use the ultrasound to do like midlines
Awesome.
and all that
Yeah.
because one of my coworkers, since at the time when I was floated to the COVID, all the COVID
Yeah.
units, and then when they started calling me back to the procedural areas, there wasn't as many patients. So one of my coworkers that is like a vascular access nurse too, she showed me how to do all that, and it is pretty hard to get used to the ambidextrous. I'm gonna mess up the word. I don't know why my brain's like
That's okay.
brain farting.
I can't say it half the time
Yeah,
either.
but like seeing the planes, and then also you're not actually looking at your hand. You're looking at like a
Yeah.
monitor, and then you're
Yeah.
going. Like that's a really cool skill that I
Yeah.
feel like is really useful. So, how long did it take you to train up to get to your confidence level?
So when you get hired on this team, they do require 50 independent insertions. That's
Hmm.
combined mids and pick lines. But your training could really depend on your skill set. That's why the best pick nurses really are the ones that already have like great freehand IV skills.
Okay.
And then for me, I had to do the 50 independent insertions. It took me about 2 months maybe of just training and getting comfortable with the sterile procedure in itself because
Yeah.
I already knew how to access veins.
Yeah.
But the more difficult part was accessing small and then deep veins.
Small and deep,
Compared to like yeah, sure, you're gonna do an ultrasound guided PIV, but it's in the forearm and it's kind of shallow. But like this one could be like, a BMI of 40, and they have like everything else is so deep. But yeah, so maybe 8 weeks of orientation. They pull in one of the vendors to do the clinical education part, like really
Okay.
check you off, essentially certify you, and then you're off on your own.
And then, so pick line placement is obviously, for me at least, kind of a scarier thing to do because you're going straight into the heart there. How do you guys know you're in the right place? Do you have the EKG sticker right here, or do you
Yeah.
have to send them in?
So there's two ways, and I can get really nerdy about this because it's
Do it.
so awesome. This new technology. Well, I don't want to say the brand, but it's called ECG tip location system.
Okay.
So essentially, you put like two leads, not the three normal ones. You just put like two, and then what it does is that it tracks your like intrinsic heart rhythm, and then the tip the PICC line has sort of like a wire, like a stylet, and that when it's inside, it detects your intrinsic rhythm. So then the closer the PICC line gets to the SA node or the
Yeah.
SVC, which is
Yeah.
going to be like the determinant of where exactly you are in the chest cavity, the bigger the P wave gets.
Wave, yeah.
So that just means that, okay, I'm right there. And then when you see a deflection, that means you're past. So
okay.
it's pretty awesome. So you really know exactly where you're at. If it gets really, really big, and then if it deflects, that means you're past the SA node.
And you could see
So
this all on your ultrasound screen too,
yeah,
like it's all connected.
So essentially you have two machines, the ECG technology and then the ultrasound. It's not an all-in-one yet. I don't think there is. Probably there is. They just haven't launched
Probably
it,
super
but it's-
expensive and don't
Yeah,
want to buy it.
probably, yeah. So it's like two things. So our machine is set up as a ultrasound screen, and then right on top is that ECG technology. And then it's like a two-part thing. So you have the ECG technology, and then you have like sort of like a boomerang that sits on your chest, and that's like it's like a Dobhoff placement. So you know exactly that it's going down, if it's going up the neck or contralateral, all sorts of things. Yeah. So it's covered in all areas, but it's not perfect. It won't work for like AFib patients that maybe have like some sort of block, of course. Anything that you couldn't identify the P wave, it wouldn't work.
Wouldn't
But
work.
there are two ways that we place them. That way, and then the other one is your normal chest x-ray after. You
Yeah.
just hope for the best that everything looks good. Yeah, but preliminarily we know where it's at. Good blood return. Patient doesn't hear in the neck
Yeah.
or in their ear, swishing sound because it goes up the IJ. We all know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then we redirect it, and then we just do the chest x-ray. Unfortunately, we can't read chest x-ray, so we let the radiologist read it, and then that's
Have you had any bad stories?
absolutely. And I hate it because it will happen. It's not perfect. Like,
yeah, of
but
course.
You can only see as much as the ultrasound will show you. So like I'll assess the extremity from like here down to here, and then beyond here, I don't know what's up with your subclavian there.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes it'll be like, whoa, I just heard something in my neck. And I'm like, it's okay. Your veins are like a plumbing
Just start pulling-
system.
just pulling it out.
Yeah. And then sometimes you can, like measure a little bit longer than usual, that they'll get like a little bit of arrhythmia, and you're like, nope. And then sometimes you'll see that it's in the ICU as well. Sometimes they'll be like hooked up to the monitor, and they'll be like sinus, and then you're like, yep, they just threw in a couple of VT runs there. But
Then
nothing
everyone's
really-
running in. What are you doing?
Yeah, I've heard some crazy stories of, because we put in guide wires after accessing the needle. You put in the guide wires, and those guide wires can get a little bit longer.
Yes.
And then I've heard she's not with the team anymore, and I wasn't there when this happened, but she lost the guide wire. That's still one of my biggest nightmares that I never want to happen to
What? Okay,
anyone or me.
so so I've used guide wires, growing
Yeah.
sheets, everything like that. There's
Yeah.
a J at the end usually. Does yours have a little J at the ends to make sure it doesn't automatically go in?
So here's the deal. Like when you're gowned up, it doesn't feel like it's part of your body. Like everything else is like foreign. So then,
Yeah.
you're going in this angle, and then this is perfect that I'm wearing this. This is your gown, and this could be
Yeah.
your guide wire, and then now you're threading it, and then the guide wire goes in, and I can see it totally happening. So that's why
Uh-huh.
it has to be a well lit environment. You're really
Hmm.
taking your time and like doing the mental checklist of like, okay, the guide wire is out, the needle's out, like you're doing that to make sure that nothing is it's like an OR procedure. You look.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, so our kits don't have the J tip in
Oh,
them.
they
We do
don't.
have like
Okay.
a mini stick or a mini kit that if we drop the wire, we could open it up. And that one does have that J tip in it. But the ones that come in with a kit, they don't. They're just
They're just straight.
straight.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, I could definitely see where that unfortunately could
Yeah.
happen. But
Yeah.
that's super scary. Having a little piece of metal just in there.
Nope, yeah. And it doesn't like I'm sure it doesn't like go all the way far up, but it's unretrievable. And then you have to call
Yeah, right.
OR or IR to retrieve it. It's just like a whole entire mess.
And a lot of paperwork, a lot of pointing fingers, and
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's me, my fault. Who did that? Me. To who?
yeah.
Me.
So
Yeah.
since you transferred to the line placement team,
Mm-hmm.
so you're saying that your life pretty much got better with the workload. So is that how you started going into your business and content creation?
For sure. I've been on and off on Instagram, really. Like, I don't know how long now, but I've never taken it seriously. I've never had the chance or the time because I never saw the potential. And then on top of that, I didn't have a strategy. I didn't have a goal in mind. I didn't have a strong why of why am I even showing up online. So then when I really dialed down on that, it made it so much easier to get back to that same reason of why are you showing up and creating a strategy that's sustainable, that keeps you consistent and also makes you stand out really is the number one.
And that's huge because I'm sure you probably see all the people that sign up for your stuff. Like I'm already signed up for it. I have the PDF
Awesome.
open here, and I was like, oh, this is actually
Great.
really cool to write things down and
Yeah.
try to get this going. So I know it says Instagram coach. So why
Correct.
did you choose Instagram over any other social media? Do you think it's the easier platform or like,
So here's the thing in business. Like a lot of people feel so attached to like the outcome that they want or what they want to do. But my ideal audience, I have to think about where they hang out. Are they on TikTok or are they on Instagram? So for me, I'm a millennial. Gen Zs hang out over at TikTok. I mean, there sure are a little bit of millennials still hanging out in that place.
yeah,
But for me, my audience are people, like I'm 32. Like I
34.
will, I will gravitate towards those people, and those people will gravitate towards me and relate to my content. But I have to realize, like, where do they hang out? Like Instagram. So then I did. So fun fact, I blew up on TikTok first
Really?
before Instagram, but man, this is a crazy story. Anyway, so I blew up first on TikTok, but then I also started a plant account during the pandemic, and that
account.
also kind of took off. So then I was doing two things at the same time, and those were two kind of different brands. I'm
Yeah.
like, I need to consolidate. I need to consolidate. And this is the thing about, learning how to show up on social media is the more you show up, the faster you'll figure your shit out, like what
Yep.
exactly you're gonna do. And just like you, like, you're thinking about rebranding yourself and consolidating everything. That's great, because if you didn't like start the other one, you wouldn't know that you actually
Yes.
wanted to do the other thing, right? So
Exactly.
then, yeah. So then in 2020, 2020, I posted a video of me badging into my house, picking up an Amazon package, and that like took off. I was on all like the nursing accounts, it was reposted and all of that, and I was like, yeah, there is some potential in this. But I never doubled down on that, and I just like posted on the fly, and that was the part where like just constantly chased going virality, and it burned me out, and then I
Hmm.
ghosted and I never showed up again. So that's the quick
No,
long
that
story
that
short.
that is true because I had like something similar happen like right before COVID when I was all about like powerlifting and working out, and then I started
Mm,
lifting in my scrubs, and then on Facebook I just posted a picture of me in my scrubs working out, and then it blew up, millions of like views, likes, everything, and I never doubled down on that too. And then I was like, oh, cool, that's a pretty cool thing. And then later I was like, oh man, I could have did something with that. So I kept trying to chase it, and then obviously when, like you said, if you don't have like a strategy or just
yeah.
keep trying to do something without like a real way to do it,
Hmm.
you just get burnt out. And then the same
Yeah.
thing happened. I just like deleted everything. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do my personal account, just me just hanging out with my family, and that's it. But then now I'm seeing like all this other nursing stuff blowing up. I'm like, man, I love doing my nursing stuff. I think I can do that too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I didn't, I actually converted from a personal account into this business account. This was my entire personal account. I was just like,
Oh wow.
I don't want, I have an existing audience already. I'm just going to turn this personal account into a business account. So just switched that profile and then just started posting and posting and blew up. So it is doable. Like a lot of people think that they should start a new account, but it really depends on, your existing audience, if you're already getting that engagement. Like I've proven it myself that it's
Hmm.
doable, but it's definitely not for everybody, especially if you're trying to pivot so like 360.
Well, that's what I was thinking about before. Like I didn't even think it like I thought about it at one point changing my personal account to the business account
Mhm.
because obviously a lot of my friends are Filipino, a lot of us are nurses or
Yeah.
something in the medical field. So, but then I was like, I don't know if everyone just wants to hear me talk about more nursing stuff and then when it's already their life, but then
Yeah.
that was just me being negative towards myself, which is now that I made my nursing account,
Yeah.
now they're all starting to follow because like
There
I'm
you
posting a
go.
lot of memes and
Yeah.
the interviews I'm doing and this funny stuff, and then it seems to be really popping up. So
Yeah.
I was like, maybe
Yeah.
I should have just did it from the beginning because it could have just reached more people.
Right, right, right. And that's perfect. To start out, you really want to leverage the visibility in attraction content because if you want to get more eyes on your brand, on your content, and that is a great way. The memes, the funny videos, all of that stuff really brings more people to share, your stuff.
So since you're already doing a master class, I feel like I'm digging into this.
It's only 60 minutes, dude. Like seriously, I can't pack it as much as I'd love to, but there is a whole entire thing beyond that. I will try to help as many people as I can in that master class, but it's only 60 minutes and
Oh, I'll definitely be there for that because like
awesome.
I feel like seeing your following, I'm looking at your Instagram now, like
Hmm.
almost 50,000 followers. You have a lot of views on everything. And I love how you do your like thumbnails for Instagram because like that, I feel like that really gets people to
To
click on it
click.
even more.
Yeah, yeah, for
And
sure.
so just to question my own type of Instagram, because I'm already putting memes out there and all that, when would you, since I'm looking at your PDF of making
Uh-huh.
your own brand, when would you stop, I guess, putting like memes out and just putting more of your face out there?
That's a great question. So, on that PDF, you'll see the three types of content that you should be posting. And it truly is all about variety. Like, as nurses, we all feel like we have to educate all the time. And we're all sick and tired of getting educated at work. Like, we do care plans,
Oh yeah, yeah.
we educate our patients, we get educated by in service. Like, come on, give us a break. So, what I really think, where nurses want to show up online and they have the best intention of educating, sharing tips, you know, inspiring people, is they are going one way, and this is
Mm-hmm.
just the education route, and there's so much more that goes into that, and variety is a key to really spicing it up for your audience and have them keep coming back for more. So then the three types of content that you truly have to post is attracting content, the nurturing content, which is sort of like your education content, and the conversion content, which is what will make them like subscribe to your email list or get your freebie or even buy your product or service. And just the cumulative sum of those three is enough for people to keep coming back for more and really establish yourself as an expert, because you're not just posting educational tips, you're also nurturing them and sharing your story, because that humanizes the whole entire content creation. You're not just sharing things that
Mm-hmm.
someone could easily Google, right?
Yeah,
Like, I'd rather just get on Google or Chat GPT
that's
to
true.
tell me about something that I want to learn really quickly. We want to know, like, how did you go about this issue? Or, like, what did you learn about your first nursing job? Or, like, the scariest thing that you had to overcome during, like, an interview process or something like that. Like,
Mm.
sure, we'd love to know about the interview tips that you have, but we want to know the why and where do you stand in that process? What's your opinion? Because only then will people resonate with you and follow exactly where you're headed in your personal brand.
Wow, that was amazing. You just gave a master class right there, and that was really good. Like,
I
in
take Cash App, Venmo,
we'll put that in the description down below. But
right?
that was great because, like, you know, I guess because I've always been doing all this like social media. Well, I only started in like 2019 or 2020 with the other channel. I only
Mm-hmm.
started taking it actually seriously now that I'm trying to do this more nursing content, because this is what I'm more passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't look at it at the way you just described it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really like mind opening. Like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure if I rewatch this later, my mouth probably dropped or something. Just like, wow, this guy is opening everything up for me, because
Yeah.
that is.
It's a very high level of thinking of that, but there's so much more that goes into it that it has to be tailored to when you create a personal brand. It's all about what you essentially create: a shit list and a hit list, and
Mhm.
then you marry that with your content strategy. And when you do that, when you combine both, you are literally unstoppable. No one can like derail you because it's your own thing. And people think like, oh, I just have to post again, you know, the attraction content, the nurturing content, the converting content. But again, there's so much more that goes into that. And only you can truly, truly discover that. And I'm here to help you.
That's really good. So obviously that's gonna be the your zero to hero. That's what it's called, right? Zero to
Yeah, from
hero.
zero to hero on Instagram in 2024. How to grow on Instagram without losing your sanity. Because we've all been there, and I have been
Mhm.
there personally. And, you know, I I think it's high time for nurses to create passive income in
Oh,
2024 and
100%.
beyond. And, you know, like passive income is has created so much noise in the last year or maybe last couple years that we need more clarity. Nurses need to get in on this train, because you're going to be left. AI is taking over, like all of that kind of stuff is taking over, and we need to get on it.
No, that's super true, because I talked about it with a few other people that we take care of so many people throughout our lives, but we never really take
Mm-hmm.
care of ourselves, especially financially. Like, even
Correct.
if we could get paid a lot, say in New York or even more in California, if you don't have other ways outside of doing your job and then working endless hours of OT, you're just going to burn yourself out. And sadly, from what I see from a lot of older
Mm-hmm.
nurses, once you get to
Mm-hmm.
that retirement age and you stop working, like, your body breaks down on you. And
Correct.
you don't want to get to that point where, like, that you just worked all your life and then all of a sudden you're in a hospital bed yourself.
Yep. Yeah, we've had, when I was still working in this cardiac ICU, we did have a coworker. She was not even old, but it was like super acute, like cancer in
Oh,
it.
wow.
Like, yeah, she worked in our unit, and we took care of her in her last like
Oh, she
moments, and it
worked in
was
your
just,
unit and then she
yeah,
became a patient on
she
your
became
unit.
a patient, yeah, because
That's
like
tough.
it was tough. So it's like a lot of eye-opening things in the last decade for me, really, that made me realize that there's no better time to do whatever you need to do or want, but now. Like literally, you have
Hmm.
one lifetime. And it's funny because I was like, why are these people, like when I was younger, why are these people traveling late in their lives? Like, like, oh, because they wanted to save up. And I'm like, but why can't you do that now, or like balance it out in a way that
Hmm.
allows you to travel and then still work and make money
Work.
at the same time?
Hmm. And that's a big thing. And so, since you're now in a better position
Mm-hmm.
in, I guess, your nursing career, do you plan on staying in the PIC line service for however long it is? For like, I guess, how long do you see yourself working for?
I can see myself hanging out for another 10 years, really.
Hmm.
Like, my husband and I are thinking about retiring hopefully in 10 years in the Philippines because I've taken him there and it's my fault that he wants to go to the Philippines. Like, I'm like, I've worked so hard to get out
To
and now
get
you're
here,
coming.
you want me to go back?
Yeah. So I took him. It was his first time going last year summer, and then it was my first time coming back home after 11 years.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so that moment was just like pure bliss because I just, like I said earlier, I just realized how far I've come, and the days of praying and hoping that I, one day could have like an amazing career ahead of me and just amazing support as well from family. It had just been incredible and like a dream come true. And it all comes from like a place of gratitude for me because, like I probably wouldn't be here if the I just recently came out to the rest of my family within like the last couple years because of the
Hmm.
pandemic.
Okay.
So that was just like a snowball effect into all aspects of my life.
Congratulations on that, though. That's huge.
Thank you, Ryan.
And then,
Yeah,
so talking about the support. So
yeah.
obviously you're doing the social media and all that. And
Mm-hmm.
similar with me, where when I started kind of taking it more seriously, started posting it, not everyone supports you. How do you deal with the people that you thought were close with you that all of a sudden are probably talking trash, or like, can you believe what Jumer's doing? He just posting all this stuff like he's some expert. Like, I know this guy since he was whatever years old.
Yeah.
What's he an expert at? Like,
One
like, how do you
short
deal with
answer:
that?
block them. I blocked everybody that I knew. My coworkers, my acquaintances, my friends. Like, remember, I started with a personal account. So I had people that knew me from like the bars or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or like just people that you've said hi once and then your geolocation
And I
like
just follow.
recommends you as a friend or like follow whatever, and like, oh, we've met once at a bar or at a party or like whatever, and they're following me and I'm like, man, I don't really want them to see me. Like, I will now post every day for me to grow, and I don't
Oh,
want
100%.
to piss you off because I'm essentially saving you from all this. And I still get shit on by my friend, like closest friends. They're like, I didn't realize you just unfollowed me. And I'm like, I didn't unfollow you, I blocked you. And then somehow, I don't know what happened. Now you can see my shit again. And I'm like, let me block you again. But I'm like, I'm saving all of you from seeing my shit because I post every day. And that's the
Every day.
problem with most people that think that, oh, I want to make it big one day on like Instagram, TikTok, whatever, but then they're posting like once a week. And I'm like, no, the algorithms of like today's era values recency,
Hmm.
interest, and like relationship. So in
Hmm.
order for you to truly grow, you need to be posting consistently. You need to find a niche, and you need to like really have a strategy that'll keep you in the game, so you are way ahead of everybody that's trying to do the same thing but not doing what you're exactly.
That's perfect, because like I feel like that was the reason why I didn't use my personal account. I was like, man, I'm gonna piss a lot of people off, and I know, not like, I have like people from high school, like you said, people from college that I probably met only like a few times at like a party,
Yeah.
or I don't even know, and then they're like, what is this guy doing? They're just talking trash, and I just didn't want to deal with it. But that's a good like mindset going into it. Like it's pretty much like a F them kind of thing. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
do you, and
They don't pay
nothing's
your
gonna stop
bills,
me.
first of all. Yeah.
Exactly.
They don't. And I posted something along this same thing like a couple weeks ago, and it got a huge traction. And I was like, it took me 10 years to realize that it took me 10 years in nursing to realize this, that that I find comfort in knowing that people will actually have something to say no matter what. Like it could be your manager, it could be your coworkers, it could be you switching jobs, finding like, whatever, like house hunting. Somebody hears you house hunting, everybody's all of a sudden saying why you
How
should.
can they afford it?
Yeah, or like you're trying to find a new apartment. You're like, oh, well, how much is the rent or whatever? It's like people will always have to say something, but you just got to do it because at the end of the day, they're a period.
Dang, I like that. I think we're like going to be really good friends here, Joomer. We're going to be really good friends.
Awesome, Brian. I am looking forward to it. I'm so glad you reached out because I really like your vibe, your personality too.
Thanks. And like when I reached out, I think I only had like 80 followers.
Oh my gosh, really? So you now have like over 3,000?
Yeah,
You
3,000.
blew up.
So within like a
Awesome.
month, I have, I don't know, like
Congrats.
two of the memes hit, two of like the meme ones went over
Yeah.
like 1 million views already.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, I guess I'm doing the right thing, but then that's why I also signed up for your class because I'm like, I need to figure out how to actually do what you're doing. Put my face out there and brand this
Correct.
instead
Correct.
of like a Taylor Swift
Yeah.
meme going down or something like that.
Yeah. Because we've learned so much like in the last couple years from TikTok. Like because TikTok blew up, like, people were posting like 5 TikToks a day. And it was just like because people had time to do that during the lockdown. And then people like it just became the norm. So then people were just showing up at home with their faces face to camera like that. And it sort of became this authenticity train that has, migrated over to Instagram. Like my personal brand is definitely aesthetic. And like a select number of people will see me in house clothes, especially on Instagram. So it's one of those things where it's like I'm not your messy personal brand kind of thing where I will show the behind the scenes and all of that on my reel. I will show up on stories as like the raw form, like me waking up, whatever, like a messy desk. But my aesthetic and my brand does not include that kind of. And if you want something like that, go somewhere else. And that's what stands out. Like people think that they have to appease everybody. They have to please everyone. You're not for everyone. You're never going to be for everyone. And the moment you realize that you actually have, like people that will gravitate towards you because of your unique personality, experiences, stories, the quicker you're gonna grow because no one can derail you. Like that's you in your in your lane, and you're gonna stay there. Yeah.
No, I love that. That's like a similar mindset that I have is just like, I'm just going to post authentically who I am. And if you like me, you like me.
Yeah.
And one of the posts that I don't know, for some reason, every time you have stories and stuff of you like moving around your furniture just to have your desk there, I'm like, damn, this guy's working really hard.
Yeah.
I was like,
I put wheels in my desk because of that same thing. Because
like I saw you like folding up your rug. I was like, I like this guy. I'm gonna keep following this guy.
Yeah. I'll go the extra mile of getting a great footage because it satisfies my need for creativity. And like not everybody will resonate to like moving your shit around in your house just to film like like a shot. But then that's where I batch content. Like just from that scene alone, I've had a couple short clips that I can post like in the next 3 months that I don't even have to do because I've done that.
Because you've already done it.
Exactly. And I just got it out of the way. I put it away in my folder and it's just going to be my phone whenever I travel. I need like a quick reel on the go and I have it ready.
And that's all going to be a part of your content strategy, right?
Yes, all of that. I'm teaching the high level of the what and why because it's impossible to teach the how in 60 minutes of that masterclass. So it's still going to be jam-packed. It's going to teach you like, the blind spots of how exactly you're showing up on Instagram and social media, and then the why and why is it important, and essentially the how, very little,
Hmm.
because again, it's incredibly short.
And that's awesome. And I know that we're coming in on almost an hour here.
Oh
So
man, yeah, I didn't
yeah,
realize
this was a
that.
lot of fun. I'm
Yeah.
having a lot of fun with this, but I know I got to go upstairs and help my wife with the kids. So if anyone wanted to contact you, how would they get in contact with you?
I hang out on Instagram. I have a TikTok, but I'm never there. You can find me on Instagram at Jumer Adeline, JumerAdalin. And my website is jumeradeline.com. Then you can get on the wait list for the next masterclass to be announced. I am not exactly sure when the date is, but it should happen pretty soon after that.
And if you had any advice for any new nurses or any nurses that are like burnt out where they are and they want to figure out something they're calling, what would you give? What kind of advice would you give them?
Take care of yourself. Take care of your brain, because you can have a transplant for the heart, for the kidneys, for the liver, but there's no transplant for your brain. So take care of your
Wow.
brain more than anything else, because that's what you need to enjoy life, to think straight, to think clear, to rationalize things, and that's your gateway to like really being successful.
Man, Jumer, that you dropped a lot of gems. I really love your
Thank
personality,
you.
dude. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will definitely send you this video before it comes out so you can take a look at it before everyone else. And again, I appreciate you for hanging out with me, man.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Brian. You have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, and you too.